much like Golden State did today. They started off the game with Byron Houston on Charles Barkley. That's not a bad thing to do, Ron. You know, you put a guy in there that's not a heavy minute player, and he kind of like maybe burns up some energy that Olajuwon is going to have to use and try to score against him. And then you bring Dudley off the bench, and I think that's what's going to happen.
So the respective coaches, Rick Adelman and Rudy Tomjanovich, Daryl Garrison, Joe Forte, and Kenny Mauer are our officials this evening. And we'll see if the precedent that was started early on this afternoon with the Knicks and the Nets, keeping things tight as far as the officiating goes. Rockets come in with the 4th best home record during the regular season of the NBA. They started off game 1, 2 of 8, hit 11 straight after that, and that is the man that led the charge, Vernon Maxwell. 5 threes, 10 straight points in the 4th quarter, took the game over at the 5-minute mark.
Well, if you think that Houston is going to come out and play exactly like they did, I don't think so. I think their adjustment is that they are going to come out and they are going to try to take the ball to the basket a little more than they normally do.
Right away we saw what Rick Adelman wanted in the opening quarter. Rod Strickland not trying to take it all the way, but stopping for that 7- to 8-footer.
Yeah, he was telling us today that it's important that Strickland do that because he gets inside and he takes bad shots against the trees inside.
The problem, though, with this starting lineup, if you look at it, you basically have only 3 scorers on the lineup, taking Bryant and Williams really out of it. So now Portland has, and this is the man that has to play with emotion. He has not played the last couple of weeks.
Well, I don't think there's any question that Cliff Robinson is as aware as we are that he didn't come out and assert himself. And you know darn well that Rick Adelman was talking to him about it.
Maxwell penetrates, and he has the first 4 of the ball game.
There's the surprise. They're going to start taking the ball to the basket.
From the outside, the jumper won't go by Robinson, who took only 12 shots in that opening game. Maxwell again. Horry, who had a tremendous game in game 1, draws the foul. It's going to be on Buck Williams, his first. Now, Cliff Robinson was the leading scorer on this Blazer team during the regular season, but he struggled in game 1.
Well, you take a look at what he did in game 1. He had 11 points, but that was on 12 shots. He normally takes 17 shots a game. He did not assert himself. He did not shoot well, and he got into a funk. And that is the responsibility of the all-star player. He has to perform when the playoffs start.
Well, the tight calls start off quickly. Kenny Smith whistles for the first team foul for the Houston Rockets. Portland comes in with a road record of 17-24. Their first losing road record in a long time. Drexler has to give it up. Bryant from about 15 doesn't get it. Smith breaks right away from Strickland to toss the jam. A quick 4-point lead by Houston. Williams with the right hand won't get it to go. Olajuwon with the rebound, his second already. Game 1, Olajuwon, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 6 blocks, 6 assists.
See, now that shot that Hakeem took, that's the exact same shot that he will take against a double team. That was against single coverage.
That was a playground shot by Clyde, won't go. Smith leading the 3-on-3 charge to Horry. Oh, that's a big-time jam.
Well, if you're Rick Adelman, you're very unhappy right now. This is the same energy level they came out with in game 1, giving up those easy transition baskets.
The owner of the Houston Rockets likes it. An 8-0 run for the Portland Trailblazers have opened up a 6-point advantage. You don't need to be a lip reader to understand what Rick Adelman is saying to these guys right now. It has to be frustrating.
Ronnie, it's a mystery to me how they can come out on 2 successive evenings. They come out twice and do not get back defensively and give up easy shots like this. There's no excuse for it. They're just not getting back defensively. They got their bodies way behind the ball. I did that thing the other day about the line of the ball. You got to get back, and that just takes energy. This is a veteran team. They know what needs to be done. There's no reason that they can't come out and do it.
Well, in case you're wondering that this is a long 20-second timeout, some of the Rockets people decide to come out and try to do one of their promotions thinking it was a full-time timeout, and I think it was a carpet cleaning commercial. We're not exactly sure, but they're going to leave the building.
That's the one where they break the piñata and there's money in it, but it takes them about a half hour to break it.
If that. Houston watched the end of the Spurs game yesterday after their practice. Rudy Tomjanovich told us that really shook up a lot of players, how quickly things can change. They're very aware of it, especially what happened last year.
Well, Ronnie, he predicted that to us. You know, John Lucas better look out in game 2. And was he right?
Well, Otisthorpe tried to save it, was not able to. Fresh 24-second shot clock for the Blazers. They trail it by 6. 8:46 left to be played in the first. Along with Dick Versace, I'm Ron Thulin, Ernie, and Isaiah in our studios in Atlanta. A single game tonight here on TNT. Robinson, the double team. He's got Strickland spotting up. Instead, Strickland penetrates. Nice dish to Buck Williams.
See, one of the problems that you have when you tell your team to go out and penetrate is that they start to compact, and then you lose all spacing, and then the penetrations that you make are in heavy traffic. That time the spacing was pretty good. They had some good interior passing, got a nice easy shot.
Nice double up top. Can they take advantage of it? Daryl Garrison says we're going to jump it up between Thorpe and Robinson, but that's something that we didn't see in game 1, how quickly they made the move to come out to Maxwell.
And also Cliff Robinson on the floor. That is a good sign. That means he's coming to play tonight. Expect a big night from Clifford Robinson.
Clifford cannot wait for the game to come to him. He has to go after it. He's a player that plays on emotion and just an all-out, gung-ho type attitude. And he has not done that, not only the other night, but for a while. Well, as Cliff Robinson falls down, Thorpe makes it easy too, a little difficult, but it counts. He has 4. The lead is 6.
Well, you got to match up after the jump ball just like you do in transition. You got to guard somebody.
Whistle, that'll be a foul on the Blazers, an offensive foul on Mark Bryant. His first.
Well, Rick Adelman said he wanted his team to penetrate. Penetration is just getting the ball inside anyway. It can be with interior passing as well as taking the ball to the basket.
Rockets swept the season series between these two, 4-zip. In fact, they swept the season series from 10 teams. Only San Antonio and Denver, the only 2 to win a series against the Rockets this year. Nice running of the court. Now, that is the Cliff Robinson that everybody knows. 4 for Robinson. The lead is down to 4.
Well, that makes Rick Adelman feel a lot better. That's good hustle, good vision up court.
Robert Horry for 3. Didn't get it. Game 1, he was 2 of 3 from the arc. Robinson, they're going to call Horry for the block. Robert's first personal, second team foul early on. Houston Rockets franchise record 58 wins this year. They had the best record versus playoff teams, 31-17. Seattle was second at 30-17. The bank is open. Rod Strickland fills out the slip. He has 4. 2-point game, a lot better start.
That little 7-footer, right. We're trying to go inside. Some guys call it a floater or a tweener or a 7-footer. I like floater myself.
I like floater. Well, Cliff Robinson has to pick up the foul. Got a piece of Hakeem Olajuwon. We have a timeout. 6:57 left in the first. Rockets by 2.
Well, I was talking the other night about how Portland did not get back. Let's take a look and see what they're doing tonight. All right, here's the rebound. All right, freeze it right there. Anytime the rebound is secured below this dotted line, this direction, you have no excuse for not getting your bodies back. All right, take the ball down a little bit further. All right, freeze it there. Now look, 1, 2, 3 bodies below the line of the ball. Here's the line of the ball, and only 1 defender back. That is why Rick Adelman called an early 20-second timeout.
Well, it must have worked because he's pulled within 2. Rick Adelman, 47 years old, a graduate of Loyola University. Only 2 coaches have been with their team longer, Jerry Sloan and Don Nelson. Rick, 9 wins shy of 300. Hakeem Olajuwon will be at the line. There you see what he did in game 1. 8 of 9 from the free throw line in game 1. Crowd chanting MVP. You're probably wondering why we would say he would be the MVP. Well, how about this? Second in blocks, third in points, fourth rebounds, 10th field goal percentage. And he also did the laundry, I understand, after most games.
Well, how about this? Let me just toss this in. This is his playoff scoring average. He is one of the leaders. He's the 7th all-time scorer in the playoffs with a 26-point average. But then he owns every single Houston Rocket category in playoff history. I mean, that's unbelievable. He's tops in every category.
Well, since Hakeem Gate, as they called it here in Houston, which was a couple of years ago prior to a game in Tokyo where he was having some contract squabbles, a 14-hour plane ride with then owner Charlie Thomas. They cleared the air, and now he's signed through probably the rest of his career. Shot clock at 5. Robinson lets it go. It'll go over the top. Houston has the ball, leading by 3 with 6:36 left to be played.
Well, I saw a little clapping by the coaches on the bench. They like the fact that, the Portland coaches, they like the fact that Cliff Robinson is going to come out and express himself tonight. We saw him run the court well. He had an open jumper, just didn't get it down.
Nice job of Mark Bryant forcing Hakeem to turn baseline. The 3 on the way, buried by Kenny Smith.
Boy, they do a great job of always turning and taking an offensive rebound and trying to kick it back to the perimeter and look for the 3s.
He's number 8 in three-point percentage. Drexler for 3. Buck Williams, the offensive rebound. Drexler can't get the easy one, but Robinson is there to clean things up for his 6th point.
Clifford has come to play tonight.
Good job getting back defensively by Mark Bryant, but Hakeem still with that easy-looking hook. He has 5. 5:45 left in the first. Pick and roll with Bryant. Bryant has to kick out. Played for Seton Hall. The turnaround, a little short. Here come the Rockets. They'll put the motors on it. They've got a 5-on-3. Thorpe. Good defense, Rod Strickland, and he'll lead a 3-on-2 if he hurries. To the hole. Williams is stripped, and he goes down hard. Vernon Maxwell whistled for his first. Coming right at us. This is the way it looked.
I see Strickland penetrating. A little banging in there. Buck's a big-time player, been around. They don't call it power forward for nothing. It means you accept the fact that there's going to be a lot of banging and your body's going to fall, and it's going to bounce a few times.
It's going to do that when you hit. Dudley's coming to the lineup. And how about Buck Williams? 3rd among active playoff rebounders, over 800 for Buck Williams. Signed a new deal, which keeps him a Blazer through the 96-97 season.
And I might add one of the classiest individuals in all of the NBA.
A nice chat before the game with him, talking about the highlights of his career, making it to the finals. Obviously the highlight. Off the court, an exceptional man. Olajuwon turns, pulls the trigger from 16. Buck's the only black jersey there to take it down. Olajuwon now 2 of 7 from the floor.
Again, that little tweener. Nice job. See, Rod Strickland penetrated. He saw the trees. He veered off to the right. Got himself some space. Hit a 10-footer.
Thorpe doesn't get it. Ken Mauer blows the whistle. We have a foul. It's going to be called, I believe, on Buck Williams. That'll be number 2 on Buck Williams. Rick Adelman can't afford to have the big bodies get in any type of foul trouble. Buck trying to have it explained to him. I don't think he thought it was on him. I think he thought it should have been called on Chris Dudley. Scores from earlier. Patrick gets ejected, but the Knicks, what poise, coming back to win by 9. We'll have that game 3, Wednesday night from Secaucus, New Jersey. Maybe Brown, I'll be there for that one.
Chicago beat Cleveland, but it was a much closer game than the 9 points that you see there. Actually, Cleveland fought valiantly throughout that game and hung in there pretty well.
Harvey Grant's come in. Buck Williams is going to have to take a seat as Phoenix opens up a 2-0 lead on Golden State. That was also a very close basketball game. Here comes Houston right back. Harper goes big hand.
Great.
Got a whistle and a foul. We talked about it on Thursday night, on Friday night. Just humongous.
Now watch this fake. These are the hands of Otis Thorpe. Now watch. He just threw the ball there. Oh, turn around. We've all tried that in the playground, but very few of us pull it off.
Yeah, we do with a tennis ball. Well, there's a term for that for Chris Dudley to put something back on because he lost it. Maxwell can't get it. The put back. Thorpe, no. Thorpe last touch it. Blazers have the ball. And they trail it by 3 with 4:24 left in the third.
Pretty obvious, though, that Rudy T has told his guys get to the offensive boards. They have responded
much better. Now the score after quarter number 1 Friday night was 39-23. So it's not as high scoring. Grant, bank doesn't go. Dudley over the back of Olajuwon, and Chris Dudley picks up his second personal foul. Dudley played only 18 minutes in game 1. And he may have to take a seat now with 2. Well, Jerome Kersey will probably have to come in for the Blazers.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with this. Here you're trying to fight for your playoff life. You see they're bringing Mark Bryant off the bench. But, you know, Ron, why not use all 6 fouls? And I know there's a lot of games left, but, I mean, Chris has missed 76 games. Give him some time. Let him play. See how long he can play without picking up the third.
Well, Mark Bryant's going to have to come back in. Dudley will sit down. Last summer, Akeem worked extremely hard. He had his middle finger on his right hand worked on, had it operated on this summer, and it forced him to work on his left hand. We are at the Summit in Houston, where a crowd of over 16,000 have come for Game 2 between the Rockets and the Blazers. We're 8 minutes into quarter number 1. Houston leading it by 5, 21-16. Dick Versace and Ron Poulin bringing you the action tonight on TNT. Shot clock inside of 10. Maxwell gives up inches and pounds to Drexler. Clyde Drexler, the veteran out of the University of Houston in his 11th year, hits his first shot out of 4 attempts.
Max doesn't like playing Clyde. He says, Clyde's 6'7". He says, every time he comes down into the paint, I tell him, I said, what are you doing down there? You're a guard. Get out where you belong. He says, the guy is too hard for me to guard. He's got me by 20 pounds and 5 inches.
Yeah, he had the play of plays, though, with the finger roll shot the other night. He told me that he calls that his jelly roll.
Oh, the jelly roll.
But you call it anything you want. That's called the switch.
I asked him if he practiced that shot, and he said he really does practice that shot. He said, I don't usually take it from 15 feet, though.
The penetration by Strickland doesn't amount to anything, except the Blazers do retain possession with 15 on the shot clock, 3:17 in the game.
This is why they call him the Dream. Freeze the defender, space maker, bottom.
First time in 5 years the Blazers have opened the playoffs on the road. That is a good sign for Rick Adelman, as Cliff Robinson already with 8 points in the ball game. Blazers cut down the lead to 3. Little green shake. Oh, that's the sweet version.
There's no challenge. I mean, if Mark Bryant is going to play him, he's got to get up and challenge. He doesn't have to worry about fouls. He can't protect himself. He's got to put a body on him, go out. He's got to get up into his chest, challenge, fly, whatever you can do. You can't just let him look at it.
We've got a whistle and a timeout with 2:51 left in the first. 5-point Houston lead.
With the ball, he's going to weave his way into the lane. He's got great quickness. Take it inside. All right, freeze it right there. Now he has the tweener, the shot that is by this man, but not to these size guys down here. He's got to take this little tween shot. He doesn't do it. He takes it all the way down, gets in the air for a bailout pass, gets in trouble, and ends up taking a difficult shot. And that's what Coach Adelman wants to avoid.
Oh, Rod Strickland's going to take a seat. He's replaced by Terry Porter. Porter joined in the backcourt by Clyde Drexler. Front court for the Blazers, Bryant, Robinson, Harvey Grant also coming in. Same starting 5 for the Rockets, who allow their starters to play a lot of minutes. Especially they've had some of their bench players injured. Carl Herrera has some tendonitis in his knee, a strained calf muscle by Matt Bullard, who didn't play in game 1. He says he's 100%. Olajuwon over Bryant.
They got to come up with a new strategy, because this is like a post-up drill right now.
That's already 13 for the big guy, and it's the biggest lead of the game. We're at 7. 2:22 left in the first. Grant, who has struggled offensively, but Rick Adelman says defensively he has been the best. Bryant won't go. Rebound, Robert Horry out of Alabama.
He had a nice
Second-year
game
pro.
in game one.
Oh, yes.
Played really well, hit some threes, played with poise.
2 minutes in the quarter, 2 minutes.
Terry Porter gets the gift rebound. He'll push it. Drexler working one-on-one with Maxwell. To Grant in the paint. That's to Harvey Grant. He wanted the foul, didn't get it. Grant averaged just over 10 during the regular season. His first 2 of the ball game. Only 4 of 10 from the floor in game 1. Smith, nobody switches. Horry. He's got Thorpe. Olajuwon takes it, doesn't get it. Otis, great positioning. Unfortunately, he had to shove a black jersey out of the way, and it was by Drexler. So Otis Thorpe picks up his first. For the 14th foul for the Rockets.
Number 10, Sam Cassell.
Well, Sam Cassell comes into the lineup for the Houston Rockets, wearing jersey number 10, the rookie out of Florida State. First-round pick this last season.
A little shaky game 1 playoff. He didn't realize the difference, and I'm not sure Chris Webber realizes the difference either, because Charles Barkley's schooling him.
Robinson in the paint. Robinson already with 10 first-quarter points. Only 11 points in game 1. Porter had the steal from Maxwell. Can't come up with a rock. Inside of a minute. Good defensive job by the Blazers. Shot clock says 7. Cassell. Maxwell spots up for the 3. Didn't get it. Gets his own rebound. Long shots, long rebounds. To Horry. Big time slam again as Olajuwon comes flying out of the pack.
What a nice job they do, penetrating and then looking back to the perimeter.
Drexler, the fall away is short. We have a 7-second difference between the shot and the game. And the Rockets lead it by 5. Almost completed 1 quarter of play in Houston. Rudy Tomjanovich wants him to slow it down. Work the clock. Shot clock to 5. Olajuwon is short. Robinson had it. Good job. They still have a lot of time. Cassell with 3, 2, doesn't get it to go. Bryant will toss it all the way down to the end of the court. And a lucky fan gets a souvenir. We've played 12 minutes. This Summit in Houston, a big quarter for Hakeem. 13-3 on 5 of 12 shooting. And the Rockets lead it 29-24. We're in the Summit in Houston, Texas. We have played 1 quarter of game number 2 between the Rockets and the Blazers. Rockets leading the best of 5, 1 game to none, and Rockets lead it by 5, and they have outscored Portland in the first quarter in the 2 playoff games so far. But if you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, you know that the second quarter was your strongest during the regular season, outscoring your opponent by over 2 points a ball game. Dick, during the commercial you and I were talking about, if you're Rick Adelman, you have to be pleased at this point. You're only down by 5. Hakeem gets 13. He needed a lot of shots, but Cliff Robinson comes back with 10.
Well, Hakeem took 13 shots, Ron, and that's if you take that through 4 quarters, that's 52 shots or something like that. I don't think he's going to have a 52-shot night, although, to be very honest with you, the way they're playing him, I'd give him 52 shots because Mark Bryant is not giving him much of a tussle in there at all. They're going to probably have to try to get Buck back on him or get some size on him. I would use Dudley and use up Dudley's fouls. He plays them the best. But you're right, Rick should be pretty pleased because in game 1, at this point, he was not in very good shape, and they're in very good shape right now.
Well, the Blazers have James Robinson checking into the lineup from Alabama, number 26. He's joined by Grant, Porter, Bryant, and Jerome Kersey seeing his first action. Carl Herrera, number 7, also coming in for the Houston Rockets. Porter for 3, won't go. Thorpe, the rebound. He has 3. And all the way down the court, Vernon Maxwell breaks the defense down. Maxwell with 6, but he's yet to hit a 3. Porter sees a little space, takes advantage. The reverse won't go. Cassell's got Thorpe. Oh, it's a rim rattler, but he didn't do it.
Well, nobody protected the backcourt. One of the first elements of transition defense, protect the backcourt. When your guard drives, either the small forward or the off guard has got to get back. Terry Porter took the ball to the basket. No one covers the backcourt.
Boy, James Robinson learned a very valuable lesson there. Inside, nice pass. Grant may have taken one dribble too many. Robinson has it slapped away. Kersey from 18, nothing but net. They got away with a major break there. Grant goes right up with it. He has the easy two.
Well, you know, both teams shot pretty well in the first quarter. 11 for 24 for the Blazers, 12 for 25 for the Rockets.
Herrera can't get the handle. Maxwell spotting up for the three, so Cassell. Sam can't get it. Told me before the game he's ready to play tonight. He was a little nervous in game one, as you mentioned. First playoff action for Harvey Grant and for Sam Cassell. Kersey. 7-point Rocket lead, 10-10 left in the second. The reverse. It goes!
Oh, my.
I'll beat you from the outside. I'll take you on the inside.
Well, if you think that Vernon Maxwell isn't pumped and fired up and ready to play, outruns the pack and without the ball, now he outruns the pack with the ball, puts enough English on that ball to move to London.
He gets the free throw to complete the three-point play. That foul, by the way, was on Mark Bryant, his second. Biggest lead of the ball game inside of 10 minutes, and the lead is 10. Bryant, the high archer. His first two of the ball game. You have to hope that Terry Porter and Harvey Grant get some type of scoring into this second unit. If not, it's just a defensive unit. Only 2 scores on the floor right now. Although Kersey has scored in his career, Maxwell, that'll be way off the mark. Nothing but air. And let's see, the ball goes out, belongs to the Blazers. We have a timeout. 9:34 left to be played in the first half, and Houston leads it by 8. Rockets by 8 inside of 10 minutes of the second quarter. More NBA action comes your way Monday night. We're not going to leave you alone. We got 2 more coming your way. Game 3, Orlando and Indiana. Can Indiana come up with the sweep? We'll find out tomorrow night. Bert Lundquist and Hubie Brown will be there to call all the action. Then at 10:30, it'll be the Sonics and the Nuggets. Sonics lead 2-0. Pete Van Weert and Doug Collins has reclaimed or repacked his bag. Clean clothes. He's ready to go. Again, that'll be at 10:30. Here's Gene Peterson, longtime voice of the Houston Rockets, celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Gene. And you want to make sure and say a special hello to his sister in Minnesota, who's a little under the weather. Consider it done, Gino. Gene had a heart attack about a year ago, and it's good to see him back in full form. One of the greats.
Yeah, he's very much loved here in Houston.
Yeah, he's a sandbagging golfer, too. Grant from the outside. Harvey Grant has 4. The lead is cut to 6.
Well, Rudy T was telling me at the shoot-around that he wants to turn the defense up, but he wants to pick his spots. They did it in the first and fourth quarters in game 1. They have yet to do it here.
Shot clock at 8. Porter comes up with a loose ball. Portland playing a lot more intense right now.
Rocket foul.
Well, Sam Cassell picks up his first personal. First team foul. But still, just the overall intensity and attitude of the Blazers, it is a complete reversal, 180 degrees from the way it was on Friday night.
Well, I think the strategy that Rick Adelman is trying to use is that he wants to double team and give help only off the passer. He doesn't want to leave the three-point shooters open like he did in game 1. And so what happened on that last play is Terry Porter kind of dropped back into the passing lane and was able to intercept the ball.
Herrera hounding Robinson. Shot clock says 7. Porter, baseline at the stop sign.
That's what I mean about spacing. You see how compacted everything was. Clyde still trying to penetrate. There's nothing there.
Bullard's first playoff action coming out of a timeout. Doesn't get it. He was on the injured list to end the season. Robinson, he's a slasher. Herrera tries to come up with the save. Ball belongs to the Blazers. There's Carl Herrera. He is a hero in Venezuela. Played for the Venezuelan national team. We saw him in the Pan Am Games in Havana, Cuba. He has improved his game greatly the last 2 years as Maxwell will take a seat on the bench and Mario Elie comes in. Big addition having Elie back in the lineup for those of you who weren't with us on Friday night. He's on the injured list with the stress fracture in his hand. Still plays with a pad on that right hand. Used to play for Portland. Robinson sizes up Olajuwon, takes it strong to the hole. No whistle. We're going the other way with it. 6-point Houston lead. Bullard will not take it inside. Does not shoot a lot of free throws. Stays outside, spotting up. Herrera posting up on Kersey. Nice defense, Kersey, but Herrera adjusts the shot effectively. He has 2.
Well, Jerome played 100% behind, then let Herrera get into the lane, and he got him so deep it was an easy shot.
Portland has won only 2 of 6 first-round series in which they did not have the home court advantage. That was back in 83 and 85. In fact, they've dropped the last 2, 86 and 89. Lead is 6.
See, there's that help from the perimeter, from the passer. That's where the help came from.
Grant hassling a little bit from behind. Herrera, the ball away. Doesn't get it, but we have a whistle, and Rudy T likes it.
Well, what Rudy T likes is the effort by his team to get on the offensive board. The worst offensive rebounding team in the league, really active tonight. But watch Carl Herrera inside. You see all the space that Jerome Kersey gives him, so he just moves himself deeper towards the basket and basically ends up getting a 2-foot shot.
Talk about the offensive rebounds in the 4th quarter the other night. Even though Houston won, they were out-rebounded 11-1 on the offensive boards.
Out.
First Venezuelan to play in the NBA. Herrera during the regular season averaged 4 points a ball game. Right now, by the way, the offensive rebounds 3 and 3. Buck Williams comes back into the lineup. So he's joined by Kersey, Robinson, Strickland, and Harvey Grant.
You know, I'd be a little worried if I were Rudy T, because if you look at what they did during the regular season and what they did in Game 1, they averaged 101 points in the regular season, had 114 in Game 1, shot 47% in the regular season, 53 in Game 1, averaged 5.2 threes in the regular season, made 9 in, they made 5 in the regular season, made 9 in Game 1. Shot 33% from the three-point line in the regular season, shot 56 in Game 1. That's a lot to ask to do again.
Buck Williams tries the Drexler jelly roll, won't go. Here comes Ellie with Cassell. Kersey trying to keep up with everyone. Better watch out. Bullard will spot up for the 3. But instead, Olajuwon, the turnaround won't go. Buck Williams with the rebound.
You got to run right back at him. You see Olajuwon's got that disappointment lag staying at the other end. But look at the speed with which he got back when he decided to do it.
Well, Cliff Robinson has come alive. 11 points in Game 1 and 4 of 12 shooting. He has 12 points this evening. And he is 6 of 9. Ellie, Olajuwon. Robinson now guarding a lot. Not much he can do with that.
That's awesome. And that's what Rick Adelman was telling us. He says, we don't have a guy that we can throw the ball inside to other than Cliff Robinson. He said they always can go inside to, look at this.
Give Cassell a block on that. Give Olajuwon the turnover. He's disappointed, but the Rockets still lead. 5:58. We have a timeout left to be played in the half. An 8-point Houston advantage.
Way for Houston to get the great Hakeem the ball out of a pick and roll. He rolls outside, frees it there. Now, Portland's strategy is, hey, we're going to try to play him one-on-one. So we want to force him to the baseline, make him take a difficult shot to the baseline. Then we can stay home outside, stay home on the outside guys. So watch what happens. Cliff does a pretty good job, gets up on that shoulder, forces him to the baseline, challenges the shot, and he still makes it. That is why he is the dream.
A nightmare if you're Portland.
I mean, it's not a bad strategy. Give single coverage on him. Stay home on the three-point guys on the perimeter. Try to do a good job, because, see, they don't do much cutting. Houston doesn't cut much from the perimeter. The only guy they'll cut usually is the passer. So they've got to, Portland's got to get out and cover the perimeter shooters, the three-point shooters, and they can only do that by doing single coverage inside.
How about this lineup, Dick? Only one guard as Chris Dudley comes back in. This is the huge lineup for the Portland Trail Blazers. All front court players except for Strickland. Herrera goes around everyone. We have a whistle and a foul. Let's see if that is on Buck Williams. Buck Williams picks up his 3rd. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Player of the Game. Budweiser will donate $1,000 in his behalf to the United Negro College Fund. will have to get a guard back into the lineup because Buck just picks up his third. You need that body. Especially the rebounder. Buck has his most rebounds since 86, 87.
My feeling is that you need a win tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're going to, don't worry about minutes. Play guys as long as you have. If you have to play Clyde 48 minutes, you're going to get a day's rest or 2 days rest. So just do what you have to do to get a win. It's the end of the year. I wouldn't worry about rotations or guys getting their feelings hurt right now. Just try to get a win any way you can.
Because if you don't, you're in big trouble.
See, Rick Adelman made a good point the other day about, you know, as badly as they started and as badly as they played at times during the game, they had a period of time where they played very, very good basketball, and they made the game a 2 or 3 possession game. And I think that's what he'd like to do tonight. So I wouldn't worry about Dudley's fouls or Drexler's minutes. I'd do whatever I could to get it into a 2 or 3 possession game again. Then you got a chance. And then if you get the win here, things are turned around. You're going home. You got the hit.
We know how tough it is to play up in Portland. Herrera 4 for 4, but the lead is 10 as the Blazers only 2 free throws tonight. The Rockets 9 of 11. That was the case in game 1 where the Blazers shot less and made less. Harvey Grant, though, a positive side, checks in with 6 points in the ball game. The lead is down to 8 inside of 5:20. Grant 3 of 5 this season.
Oh, he had a very, very poor first game, and Rick Adelman said he wasn't unhappy with the shooting. He wasn't happy with it. He said he was happy with his defense. And then he comes out and starts Mark Bryant, so yeah, I don't know if he's telling the truth on that one.
Clifford Robinson shows a little hustle, but he picks up the foul in the process with 2. He had the block on Elijah Line, couldn't come up with a loose ball. Houston has it fresh 24 with 5:07 left in the half. Clifford with the red headband will go with the black headband in the second half. Dudley on Elijah Line. Played him well when he was in, but they forgot to guard Robert Horry.
Well, I think they put Portland to sleep. You see, they don't cut much from the perimeter, so when they do, it's kind of a surprise.
Strickland a little bit too far outside. I think Cassell got a piece of it. 6th rebound for Elijah Line. The lead is 10. Spin. Dudley caught him. Oh, my. Check the ball. I think it's wet.
What was that I said about getting them 52 shots? Not a bad strategy tonight. He's got it all working.
That was a Judy Garland over the rainbow. 12-point. Houston lead, their biggest of the game. And they've done it without or with just 1 3-pointer tonight. From the outside, Clyde.
You know, when I was with Detroit, one of the things that used to amaze me about Isaiah Thomas was when he would penetrate and then size would come to him, he could change his arch and change it dramatically. But Hakeem is the only big man that I've ever seen do that. And I've seen him do it on more than one occasion. He will change his arch when challenged.
And he also is able to pass the ball well. He had 6 assists in game 1.
Well, I was talking before about the fact that Houston normally spots up on the perimeter, but the guy they will cut is the passer. It was Robert Horry that made the passer that time. I mean, made the pass and then made the cut.
The dream for 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. He was 42% from the arc in the regular season, 8 of 19. 20 points already for Hakeem Olajuwon.
Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Hakeem is talking to Daryl Garrison.
His hand, he's holding his left wrist in his hand, and Ray Melchiori quickly comes out. It may have just gone numb. I wonder if he, like, hit his elbow or something.
Well, see, I saw him pointing to his heart, and I know he's had that heart fibrillation problem, and I thought something might be dramatically wrong, but maybe just hit the ulnar nerve, you know, the funny bone. If you hit that, it can go all the way up your arm and into your chest. All right, there's the penetration by Sam Cassell, and then there is Hakeem lacing up the 3. It just, now watch, now he's going to point to his chest here in a minute. Something's wrong. See? Then he turns to Garrison here and wants a timeout, but his team didn't have the ball.
You can't see where it happened there, unless Dudley was flying out at him, but it didn't look like he was going to make contact as Hakeem hits his first career playoff 3.
I don't really think there was any contact.
No.
I think it's something about when he extended on the shot.
We'll try to get an update for you just as soon as we can on exactly what happened, but Hakeem will sit out as the team is around him. He was actually holding it before the shot. But, you know, you can't tell. Maybe we could see it on the whole play. He's coming from the bottom.
All right, there he comes up top. I don't see any contact at all. Oh, you're right.
He's right there.
Yeah, something wrong.
It didn't bother him enough to affect the three, though.
But maybe that's why he made the three.
There is Grant. A little short on the jumper. 13-point Houston Rocket advantage. Still working on Olajuwon. Herrera bodying in on Robinson, getting position. Cliff has got to put the body on Carl Herrera, who already has 10.
You know, Ron, I was talking before about Rick Adelman saying they don't have an inside presence. They don't have anyone they can kind of throw the ball to and create double teams and play the in-out game.
Oh, is that
nice move by Rod Strickland. But he says Houston has not only Hakeem, but they have Herrera and other people that they can throw the ball to.
We'll be back.
Watch Hakeem and Chris Dudley. They do get tangled down here. They're right there behind the stanchion. Bring it across the lane, guys, and let's take a look. You see they're tangled up right there. When he pulled away is when he hurt the hand, or it's the elbow, and now he's holding it right now. It's the left elbow, and apparently he's okay, and that's good news.
He's sitting down right now, and there you see him pointing to the left elbow, and he just went numb. You just saw it went numb, you know, and he's up. He's going to come back into the lineup, and he's been given the okay, and that's a good sign. And at the line, it'll be Rod Strickland. That foul, by the way, was on Carl Herrera. That is his first personal. Rod Strickland, 6 points. Just a reminder, we got the Reebok halftime report coming up in just a couple of minutes. Pistons guard Isaiah Thomas is there. He'll have scores and highlights from today's playoff action featuring the Nets, Knicks, Cavs, Bulls, Warriors, Suns. All coming up at 2:56 plus a commercial. 13-point Rocket lead. They led by 5 at the end of one. Olajuwon already with 20 points in the ball game. And they've done it with just 1 3. Dudley on the switch. Thorpe. Robinson has to pick him up. Shot clock at 3. There's a 3. Doesn't get it. Vernon Maxwell. Robinson, a little opening. Oh, and Clifford takes advantage of it.
I loved how he did that. He got the ball down deep, lost it, kind of did a little juke and fake down there, and then made a quick little move to the basket. Got an easy dunk.
Now Thorpe battling with Dudley, putting a body, using that left arm to get position. The wild shot won't go. Drexler with the rebound, trailing by 11. We have 2 minutes left in the first half. Drexler loses the handle. Dudley, the putback, counted. So a late surge here in the first half by the Blazers have cut the lead down to 9. A 6-0 run. Shot clock, a lot of time. Maxwell with the drive. Thorpe the putback.
Vernon Maxwell looked like he hurt his right ankle. He's holding his ankle. He's still down.
And he is down on the floor. Ray Melchiori again coming out.
This one hurts. You can tell.
Oh, boy.
I've been looking at athletes for 28 years, and usually you can tell by their face if it's fairly serious. This one hurts.
Oh, and Ray just touched it, and you can see him grimace. It is his right ankle. We're going to take a break and check out his condition in just a minute, but we have 1:26 left in the first half. Rockets by 11. Let's see if we can see where Vernon Maxwell hurt that ankle.
Well, Ronnie, he gets in the lane here, and when he lands, he just kind of like twists it when he lands here. There, you see him. He's trying to get the weight off it. See, trying to keep the weight. He's crawling away, trying to make sure he doesn't get hit or anybody falls on him, and then tries to get the weight off of it. And when he walked by our table here, he was putting a little weight on the ankle, which I think is a good sign.
Well, they've taken Vernon to the locker room, and they're going to take a look at the ankle. Hopefully it'll be okay. Just another tape job, and he'll be able to play the second half. But with 1:26 and an 11-point advantage, I'm sure they're taking every precaution necessary. 20 on the shot clock. Blazers have the ball.
Both teams shooting well. Rockets 50%, Blazers 47.
Drexler, Ori guarding him. Bryant was standing out of bounds when the ball hit him. Ball belonged to the Rockets.
That's not a pass that Mark Bryant's going to catch.
No, not unless he has fingers on his shoe tops.
No. And Clyde's doing what coach wants. He's penetrating, but he's got to start taking that tweener too. There's a lot of traffic down around the basket once you get there.
Olajuwon, Bryant gets a hand. Rockets one of 2 teams to beat everybody at least once in the league this year. Seattle's the other.
Elbow's fine. Elbow's fine.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Olajuwon, 22 first half points. 9 of 20 from the outside for a team. Drexler, the spin move on Cassell, whistle and a foul. That'll be a blocking foul on the rookie. Sam, you're not going to get that call.
Not against the Glide.
Not against the eight-time All-Star.
And the Glide leaned in very heavily on Sam Cassell, and Sam Cassell expected that call. No way.
Clyde Drexler at the line. Up until last year, he had never been below 45% shooting. Last 2 years, 43%.
You saw Clyde's numbers there. Clyde is now feeling good for the first time. He's a very healthy guy right now.
Leading scorer among active players in the playoffs.
He had a severely sprained ankle and missed 24 basketball games, and really never felt well prior to and after that. So he never was the same. He wasn't the Clyde as we know him. But now he's in good health.
Oh, he's playing much better down the stretch. Robinson hangs in the air, and Cliff Robinson checks in with 16. The lead is down to 10. Boy, if you're Rick Adelman, you're afraid you get this thing into single digits, or at least for a moral victory.
Well, they're going to get another possession.
5-second difference between the shot and the game. That's the game clock. Olajuwon, the dream shake, doesn't get it. Tip. Here comes Drexler. A lot of time left. Oh, Mark Bryant taking the shot. They had 4 seconds on the shot clock, on the game clock when he launched that prayer. Cassell doesn't get it. We have played 24 minutes. Big half for Hakeem Olajuwon. 22 points. 9 of 21 shooting. Throw in 6 rebounds for good measure. And the Rockets head of the locker room. He'd come out at halftime, do a little amp. 64-55 was the score at halftime of game number 1, but a trend that's continuing is the front court scoring, as the first illegal defense called. In game 1, the front court of Houston outscored Portland 60-25. That's the starting front court. And tonight, it is 33-22. Illegal D was on Clyde Drexler. Got no man's land. Dudley comes out to meet Olajuwon. He gets the starting nod. Shot clock inside of 10. Dudley trying to put a body on Olajuwon. Shaking and baking. It won't go.
That was a good challenge. He got up. He actually made a miss.
Strickland 4.5 rebounds a game, triggering that fast break. That's exactly what Portland wants to do, is run a little bit.
And now Rudy T's upset. Falls, rebounded below the dotted line. Layup at the other end. That's not the way to start the half, guys. That's what he's saying. He's not saying it. He's thinking it.
Oh, yeah. Olajuwon, no place to go, but that high under finds the cord.
See how he changes his arch?
Olajuwon played 43 minutes in game 1 as Dudley launches the 17, goes about 15. Olajuwon has Drexler to beat. Nice dish. Oh, yeah, but Hakeem can't get it to go, but they're going to call it goaltending. Give it to Hakeem Olajuwon.
See, Chris Dudley comes into the game. He does a great defensive job on Hakeem at one end, and then at the other end, takes a bad shot. It ends up in a nice, easy basket for Hakeem. Chris comes and complicates the issue by goaltending.
Lead is 12. Hakeem 19 first half minutes. Portland does not want to get down 0-2 in this series. They are Been 0-2 4 times in the playoffs. They have won only once. 16,000 plus at the Summit in Houston, Texas. We have 10-16 remaining to be played in the third. Dick Versace and Ron Thulin enjoying a game that has the Rockets on top by 12, 61-49. That last foul, by the way, was on Robert Horry. That is number 3 on Horry. Strickland gives it up to Robinson. Buries the jumper from the outside. Clifford with 18 in the ball game. Rockets set a franchise record for wins, 58 this year. Thorpe, that'll be an offensive foul. He lowered that right shoulder. Buck Williams added a little run for effect.
You know, as good a player as Otis Thorpe is, he's not fluid in his post-up moves. He doesn't have a great variety of post-up moves. And one of the things I think that bothers him down inside, makes him kind of a shaky post-up player, are those big hands. He doesn't exactly know what he wants to do. He cups it too long, holds on to the ball way too long.
Blazers have won only 2 of 16 series in which they've lost game 1. Cliff Robinson now comes up gingerly on his right ankle. But he does have 20. That is his season average. The lead is down to 8. Thorpe on Dudley. Olajuwon from the easy 17.
And that was interesting. Thorpe makes the penetration, dishes the ball out to Hakeem, and then just starts running to the other end. He knew the shot was in.
Kenny Smith stripping Rod Strickland. The baseball bullet pass. Smith is only joined by 2 other white jerseys, but he buries the 3. His second of the ball game. That is 6 points for Kenny Smith. He was 2 of 4 from the arc in game 1. Drexler short. Everything has been short tonight for Drexler. Touchdown, Houston.
Yeah, Rick Edelman's got to take the timeout now. He's way down in this early part of the second half. He's got to regroup.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Chevy.
Strickland, that's his man. And that's what happens. Hey guys, match up. Now watch the Houston Rockets version of Warren Moon. How about that, Ron Thulin? On the money. That's not easy to throw
6.
that pass.
Let's kick the extra point and move on. Strickland, the penetration. We haven't seen that in the third quarter. That is the first time he's taken it inside. One thing Rick Adelman was really afraid of, if this team got down, he said they sometimes get into a place where it's one shot, one pass, one shot. He said they are not consistently able to play 48 minutes of basketball. Maxwell almost passed it to himself. Here comes Robinson. He has Strickland on the right. Robinson uses his body on Olajuwon. What a play, Rod Strickland.
That was a terrific play. He just kind of went in there and banged and got the little space he needed, and it made a very difficult shot.
Down to 9. Olajuwon toes the line. The 3 is short. Dudley. 7:35. The team goes, I hit 1, coach. Drexler, baseline jumper.
The reason we're laughing is because Rudy D looks at Hakeem and says, what are you doing?
But you don't say that to him. Go ahead, Hakeem, no problemo. 3 of 9. Drexler out from the outside as the Blazers have put together a 6-0 run. Cut the lead down to 9. Maxwell gets a step on Drexler, takes advantage of it with the left hand. Maxwell has 13 points, the majority on some type of drive or close-in shot. And he's doing a nice job making Drexler work on the offensive end.
Now, if you think Vernon Maxwell is not feeling well, let's take a look and see how he's feeling. You know, this is not a shot that you would get against New York. You wouldn't get it against the Indiana Pacers anymore either.
Now let's take a look at tonight's Chevrolet scoreboard. Games from this afternoon. The Knicks lead that series 2-0. Bulls lead that one 2-0. And Phoenix. The Department Department of Redundancy Department.
You know, Ron, Portland's doing it again. They're kind of hanging around. They're not playing well. They're not getting back in transition. They're not matching up. They don't have a lot of energy. They've had some questionable shots, and they're still hanging around here. It's a 9-point game.
Nice defense. Cliff Robinson knocking the pass away, but the Rockets have it with 14 on the shot clock. Houston has not used their bench all that much this evening. Adelman has gone to his frequently. They've gotten only 8 points from their bench, all coming from Carl Herrera. Olajuwon. That's almost a gimme, but we have a reach in and a touch foul by Rod Strickland. His first.
Portland foul number 1, Rod Strickland, first personal foul.
Well, you got Rick Adelman searching for combinations to try to keep himself in this basketball game. He wants to give the same kind of a game he got in game 1 at the end. He wants that 2 or 3 possession game where he's got a chance to win it. On the other hand, Rudy Tomjanovich is saying, hey, I am going to use the rotation and keep it tight if I have to. I'm not going to worry about keeping Matt Bullard and Sam Cassell and Scott Brooks and the deep bench guys happy. I want to try to go up to Portland with 2 wins under my belt.
Crowd chanting MVP as Olajuwon, Defensive Player of the Year last year, first team All-NBA. Will probably add a few more awards this year. An 11-point Houston lead. Nice pass inside. Buck Williams with a little jelly roll. Doesn't get it. Dudley can't get the tip. Here come the Rockets. Inside of 6.5 in the third. Olajuwon bumping up with Dudley. Backs his way in. Dudley gets a piece of the ball. Also gets a piece of Akeem, who's already made 6 trips to the line. Rick Adelman doesn't like the call. It's Dudley's third.
Well, I thought Dudley played him pretty well that time. Let's take a look to see if indeed he got leather. He felt like he did. He got a little arm there, too.
Well, like Rudy T said today, that if the officiating was tight, he felt that would definitely help them as Akeem gets the home court roll on that one. He is 6 of 7 now from the stripe. And Rick Adelman said they need to let us body up to Akeem, and if they do call it tightly, he wants them to call it on the offensive end because Akeem does throw the 7-foot, 255-pound frame around. The 8-footer by Strickland goes down.
Well, you know, he can get that shot anytime he wants. I mean, he's got unbelievable quickness. He can blow by anybody in the league. He's just got to get a little smarter. He's had a good year statistically. 9 assists a game for an 82-game season. That's impressive.
Well, the way Houston plays gives Portland a chance to penetrate. Houston has it. 10 on the shot clock. Here's with Drexler and Olajuwon, former teammates at the University of Houston. 2 Final Fours in 82 and 83. The big guys got the advantage all around. Of course, they lost in the Final Four in 83 to Jimmy B's North Carolina State team. Drexler, Strickland, a little shot again. That is a very difficult shot when you're trying to run. You don't have the backboard there.
Ron, that's the hardest shot in basketball. That little 3-foot shot. You've got to have a tremendous touch to be able to make that shot.
I used to say Archie Bell in the drums. You'll tighten up right around here. Olajuwon in.
Yeah, but they're from Houston, Texas.
Yeah, they're from Houston, Texas.
We not only sing, we dance as good as we sing.
I was on Cliff Robinson is third. I thought I was the only one to do who those guys were. I'm impressed.
Olajuwon for Houston shooting 2.
He was here one game last year, as a matter of fact. Wouldn't recognize him?
I wish I would have been here.
Olajuwon.
Number 10, Sam Cassell, the Houston lineup.
Now 7 of 9.
Right.
Sam Cassell comes in. Kenny Smith will take a breather. For the second time, Akeem has topped 30 points in the playoffs. And the lead 74-65 with 5:20 to go in the third. Horry tips it away as Robinson tips his eyes off it. Bad pass, Buck Williams.
He jumped up in the air to throw the pass.
Maxwell won't get it to go.
That's bad enough when your guards do that, but when your power forward does it, you're in deep trouble.
There's your foul, 22 by Drexler.
Drexler whistled for his first.
Team foul.
Rick Adelman, don't take that as a look of complacency. That's a look of frustration.
Well, you know, he is a very patient coach, and he's got a lot of wins under his belt, and I think the guy's really done a tremendous job. People don't realize that the ancillary problems, the side problems that you have when you coach a basketball team. You got to get the personalities together. You got to quiet the hidden agendas. You got to deal with, you know, what the agents are saying to him. He's done a tremendous job. He really has.
15 for Maxwell. The lead is bumped up to 11. We have 5 minutes remaining in the third. Strickland goes in about 10 feet. Doesn't get it. Buck Williams with the putback. Williams with 8. The lead back down to 9.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that Portland's getting ready to make their move. They're slowly getting into the game. It's kind of the way they play.
You've got to be careful in the playoffs. You're hanging around. Nice double. Strickland ties up Hakeem Olajuwon. Nice job. It's really not a double, and that's what everybody was explaining to us today. It's more of a cover than it is a double.
Well, it's called help and recover. You help, but you recover to your own man. And that's pretty much what Rick Adelman wants. He doesn't want double teams because Olajuwon is so good at shooting over the double teams, splitting the double teams, and finding the open men on the perimeter. He'd rather have him just shoot the ball, help and recover by his defensive people.
But Robinson almost took it away from Morey, and then Maxwell gets into it with Drexler. Took one upside of his head. Thorpe. Olajuwon. Shot clock at 10. Thorpe working inside for the 2.
Nothing wrong with that post-up move. Nice little up and under move. Fake the middle, spun back to the baseline, up, fake, and under for a nice, easy shot.
Only 25 opponents. Portland was able to keep under the century mark this year. That was the 6th worst in the NBA. Houston kept them under 51 times. They were 45 and 6 during that time. Strickland outside. Dudley trying to keep it alive. That'll be a loose ball foul.
Well, let's watch Otis Thorpe and those big meat cleavers he has for hands. He gets the ball in the post. He's working Buck Williams. See the up fake, the freezing of the defender, and then the under move. Nice finish as well. Good touch.
For the final 3:51, that was the 5th team foul on the Blazers, so that'll send Houston to the line as Dudley picks up his 4th personal foul. Look for things to get a little more physical now because Dudley's becoming more and more frustrated. Thorpe now 1 of 3 from the stripe, only 66% during the regular season. Looking at a player that does 3 things extremely well: running the court, executing a pick and roll, and one of the best screeners all around.
Not to mention the worst free throw shooter in the NBA. One of us was going to say it.
When you have that big of a hand, it makes it difficult. You see Hakeem or Shaquille O'Neal the way he shoots. It's like us trying to shoot a tennis ball from 15 feet. Whistle on a foul. That is on Olajuwon. Only his first. 3:37 left to be played in the third. 79-67 is our score. A 12-point lead by the Houston Rockets. Rod Strickland will go to the line. Strickland, the 6th-year pro out of DePaul, was a first-round pick back in '88 by the Knicks and was voted the team MVP this year by his teammates. Led him in all the categories, including assists, steals, and minutes. Dudley is going to have to go out. Mark Bryant comes back into the lineup.
I think Rod Strickland's best basketball is still ahead of him. I mean, he had some maturity problems when he was with New York and San Antonio. And he seems to be growing up and taking his profession rather seriously. And I think that you're going to see a tremendous next few years from Mr. Rod Strickland.
17 in the first game. He has 18 this season. Season high, or season average was 17. Olajuwon having his way underneath, drawing the whistle.
Well, again, single coverage. It's the strategy. They're staying with it. A variety of people on Olajuwon. Bryant's played him. Buck Williams is playing him. Chris Dudley has played him. And he's wearing them all out. Oh, yeah. He's wearing everybody out.
He's got 3 on Bryant. With Robinson walking over to the foul line, both of them come out laughing. Saying Hakeem, give us a break. Hakeem Olajuwon is in the process, 32 points tonight, by the way, 7 attempts from the line, the process of buying a old bank, going to turn it into a temple here in the Houston area. Very religious man. up at 5:30 in the morning for his morning prayers. This is a man who averaged 41 minutes a ball game, and Rudy Tomjanovich is always concerned about his minutes. He always turns to him as his coach. I'm in shape. And he can say that in 6 different languages.
Well, he is an amazing basketball player as well as an incredibly interesting person.
10 rebounds now for Thornton. Horry sizing up Robinson. Cassell launches from the arc.
Oh, he wanted that. He wanted his first basket. He wanted it badly.
Sam Cassell only 1 of 5 in game 1. His first three-pointer of the playoffs. Buck Williams inside. Bryant with the board. Pulls it back out, and he took one in the ear. Outside, Robinson. He drains the 3. Cliff only 13 during the regular season out of 53 attempts. Pulls Portland within 10. Olajuwon from behind. Strickland. We've got a timeout as the foul is on Strickland. His second. It's a 10-point Houston advantage. We'll be back.
Fourth quarter, because normally we're winning these kind of games in the fourth quarter. The close games, we always won those games, and now I see that even during the regular season, we lost a lot of close games. It's uncharacteristic of our basketball team. So tonight we need to get their confidence back and continue to play basketball and continue to be aggressive offensively. And I think we sort of lost that aggressiveness that we had in the fourth quarter.
Buck Williams, the 13th year pro out of Maryland, 34 years old, a first-round pick back in '81 by New Jersey. That's something they've been concerned about.
It's just not that time of year, though. That's the thing I think that is kind of inscrutable. It's funny. It's mystifying. Why are you making these statements now? You might say that mid-season, you know, when you're talking about curing what you do in the fourth quarter. Hey, this is it. I mean,
that's right.
It's like the islands, Virgin Gorda, Nevis. You know, I mean, unless you can stay alive. And it's not easy to do. But they've done it. Now look at this bench. This is not a bench. These aren't the faces of people that are into it. I think this is a troubled team right now. And yet they are mystifying to the point that they can turn around and put together a hellacious 10 minutes of basketball.
That's a team that came in with a lot of questions coming into the playoffs. And those questions are not being really answered right now. Off the back of Maxwell, Olajuwon gives it up to Horry. Nearing the 2-minute mark, Rockets lead by 12. Cassell spots up for the 3. They want him to take it. Well, listen to the fan, Sam.
Well, he thought about it, see, Ron. Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't have thought about it.
Strickland, oh, count the basket. Rod Strickland right into Akeem Olajuwon. 20 points now for Rod Strickland as Olajuwon picks up his second. What a play by Rod Strickland.
Well, he's so amazingly quick. Now, he just turns on the jets. He's got a good, strong finish through the body into Olajuwon. Got himself a little space. Got the ball up and finished.
And he doesn't get the roll, but Bryant is there. Oh, he misses the 2-footer. Oh, that's a dagger in Rick Adelman's heart. He's going to cut it to 8. Olajuwon, the spin move, put that one in the books.
Well, there's no answer for that shot. The only way that you can block that shot or bother it is to try to block it from behind. And you better send somebody with size if you want to do that.
Everything Clyde Drexler has shot tonight has been a line drive. Not an arc. He's 3 of 11. On the other end, some of these have been rainbows.
Well, let's dissect this shot. You see how he fades? Now, there's nobody in that area to challenge. The man that's playing him can't challenge because he creates space between the defender by fading. And at 6'11".
Buck Williams right on, Buck Williams right on the tailbone, and Olajuwon also in a collision. Buck now with 10. The lead is 10. Gallman didn't want so much stealing the ball from Houston. He wanted to contain him and keep Olajuwon off that left block, but he is parked there the last couple of trips down the court. Shot clock at 3. Cassell.
Oh, nice pass. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's why Rudy T likes him.
Oh, boy, he loved him ever since he first saw films from Florida State. Lead is 12 inside of a minute. Drexler trying to get something going. Olajuwon with the stuff. He had 6 blocks in game 1. Maxwell. Drexler has a lot of numbers if they hurry. It could be 3-on-1. To Porter, to the hole. Oh, he had Cliff Robinson underneath the basket. Gave it up to Porter instead.
Well, normally the rule is if you have the choice between big and little, when you are the guy with the ball on the fast break, you go to big. Now watch, this starts it all. Great block, a lot of leather. Now the choice is to go big or little. He went little. And ended up in not getting the basket. They were fortunate they got the foul there, although there wasn't a lot of contact.
A lot of contact. 4th foul on Horry. Terry Porter yet to score in this game, and he breaks that streak with his first free throw. Porter, 28 minutes in game 1, was 8 of 12 from the outside, including 4 of 5 from 3. Finished with 21 points, 5 rebounds. Williams comes out. Kersey comes in. Also, Harvey Grant comes into the lineup. Buck Williams sits down. Terry Porter, who tied an NBA playoff record for 4 3-pointers in a quarter. Second time for Terry Porter to do that, tied his own record. Started over 550 games at point guard for the Blazers over his career until replaced by Rod Strickland midway through this year.
Well, you know, they almost won an NBA championship with Terry Porter at point guard. They just couldn't get over the hump.
Out of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, coached by Dick Bennett, father of Tony Bennett, the Charlotte Hornets, who had a great run in the NCAA this year.
He's a tremendous basketball coach. He really is.
Nice move, Cassell. Herrera knocked it out off the Blazers' head. Rockets have it with 16.6 left in the quarter, and they lead it by 10. That's the way it was at intermission. Rick Adelman, that told it all, didn't it? The big breath and the shaking of the head.
A look is worth 1,000 words.
Final 10 of the quarter. Keene getting a break here as we close out the third. Cassell forces it inside to Thorpe. They may not get a shot off. Cassell tosses it up in the air with .3. 3/10 of a second, and Daryl Garrison's probably going to put another 2/10 back on. Let's see. If they do, they'll have a better shot at it.
Indeed, Ron, you're right on the button. Well, you can get a shot here easily. You can get a catch and shoot.
But you've got a great defensive team here. Brian lets it go, doesn't get it. He played 36. Hakeem Olajuwon. What a night for the big guy tonight. 36 points, 14 of those coming in the third quarter as we head to the final 12. The Rockets lead it by 10. The Rockets are 12 minutes away from going up 2-0 in the best-of-5 series in round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. They lead heading into the fourth and final quarter, 88-78. They played the Blazers even in that quarter at 31 apiece. One thing Rick Adelman did in game 1, which was very effective, was the 3-guard offense. They haven't gone to it tonight, and this despite the fact Rick thought that they could be very successful.
Well, he told us that he thought that he would do it because they were so productive in game 1. Those 3 guards produced 64 points. Right now, tonight, they've produced 32 points. Tonight, they're 11 for 26, but Terry Porter hasn't seen that much time.
Terry Porter in that first half played only 8 minutes. Played less than that in the third. Fourth quarter underway. Cassell, Thorpe, Herrera, Horry, and Maxwell in for the Rockets. Strickland, Grant, Kersey, Bryant, and Porter in for the Blazers. Rod Strickland with the block on Vernon Maxwell, and we have a whistle and a foul. Strickland with 24 blocks during the regular season. Maxwell has foul number 3 called on him. First in the fourth. Dangerous time if you're Rudy Tomjanovich. You talked about what happened to San Antonio yesterday. You've allowed Portland to stay in this ball game despite the fact they are not shooting the ball all that well. They are less than 50%. And they're being out-rebounded by Houston, but yet they find themselves down by 10. And it stays that way.
I agree with you. I would be a little worried right now if I was Rudy because my team hasn't put away Portland. Portland really hasn't done much. They haven't played with much energy. Drexler's having a subpar game. Cliff Robinson has stepped up, but that's about it.
Cassell inside, and the rookie drops down another 2. He has 5 for the ball game. A new playoff 5 for him. Strickland gives it up to Drexler. That's a 2. Or Grant. Harvey Grant from the outside. Grant now with 8 in the ball game, and the lead stays at 10. And Mario Elie will come into the lineup for the Rockets. Horry on top, working on Grant. Stops, pulls the trigger, doesn't get it. Here comes Strickland out of the back. Portland wants to push it. Houston, nice job getting back defensively. Grant, same spot, doesn't get the same result. Maxwell,
look at Max get out.
What a play by Vernon Maxwell.
On a bad ankle. Tremendous effort.
17 for Maxwell, yet to hit a 3 tonight. Porter, nice ball fake. Short on the jumper.
Yeah, I should mention Rod Strickland's having an awful good night for Portland. He's kind of keeping his team in there.
Cassell stops, doesn't get the bounce. Here comes Strickland. Number 3 rebounding team in the NBA, Portland. There's Terry Porter, the nice follow through, and he buries it. Terry Porter for the other night, 110 on the regular season. The lead is 9. Houston 13 and 18 during the regular season when opponents broke the century mark. 36 and 6 when they scored over 100. Horry can't believe it. Kicks the advertising. We've got a timeout. 9-point Rocket lead with 9:15 left to be played. Touch point in the paint. Blazers and Rockets on the rebounding in game 1. The offensive rebounds. Blazers owned it by 9 tonight. Rockets have it by 1, but in the fourth quarter in game 1, Blazers had an 11-1 advantage in that category. Second chance points. Rockets lead it by 3.
Well, right now Portland is making a move, but not good enough because they're being challenged by, yes, that Sam Cassell off the bench saying, hey, I can play in the playoffs. Very shaky in game 1, but not tonight. Great pass to Vernon Maxwell.
Well, the Blazers 9 and 26 when they trail at the end of 3 quarters of play. Portland's the type of team that beats you with players, not necessarily plays. Right now they need a player to step up. Strickland on top. A lot of time on the shot clock for each 14. Offensive spacing rather weak right now. Kersey takes the jumper, doesn't get it. Everybody bunched up right in the middle for Portland. 9-point Rocket lead inside of 8:45. Olajuwon owns property on that left block. Mario Elie for 3.
They are so good at penetrating, running into heavy traffic, and then turning and finding open men on the perimeter. Not only are they good at it, they're unselfish in doing it.
Rick Adelman talks about the 3 from Houston being a dagger in the heart. Doubleheader coming your way Monday on TNT. We kick it off at 8 o'clock Eastern time. The Magic and the Pacers with Vern Lundquist and Hubie Brown. Pacers lead that series 2-0. They can wrap it up. And following that at 10:30, it'll be Seattle and Denver with the Sonics leading 2-0. Pete Van Weer and the Professor joined by Doug Collins. Rod Strickland tonight. Already with 20 points. Take one more to add one more to that. Well, Kenny Smith comes in. Vernon Maxwell is going to take a seat. Max, no threes tonight, but he does have 17 points, which is 4 over his season average. Strickland thought it was short. It goes down. Maxwell, in fact, is 0 for 3 from the arc tonight. Lead back down to 10. Houston with the home court advantage the first 2 rounds. The last time they had that, the 86 year when they also went to the finals.
Well, this is exactly what Rudy T predicted would happen. He said, hey, look at what happened in Atlanta.
there's going to be some very tight calls tonight, and that has been the case.
Well, Dudley picks up his fifth. He's going to stay in the lineup, as you said, do or die time. But Bryant is up off the bench. Porter's got a 3-on-2. Grant on the right. Nice hustle, Akeem Olajuwon. What a hustle job by the big guy. Portland has it. Grant lets it fly over Smith, and he buries it. Harvey Grant. 10 points for Grant this evening. But what a hustle job by Akeem Olajuwon. Ellie knocks over Grant. That's going to be an offensive foul on Mario Ellie, his first. You wonder why he got Defensive Player of the Year last year. How about a little bit of hustle? Watch this. Look where he is.
Oh, look at the distance he makes up. That's what's so amazing. Harvey Grant thought he was going to go in and shoot a layup, and all of a sudden here's a 7-foot blue dart coming by.
Now Harvey Grant is working the right elbow. First, Steve Olajuwon got bumped to the left elbows. Got it all bandaged up now in the first half. Hamlet now. Shot clock inside of 10. Porter on Ellie, or Grant on Ellie. Turnaround, doesn't get it. Bryant turns, puts it up, no good. Only one black jersey underneath the hoop, and it's a guard in Rod Strickland.
See now, the difference between what Portland did right there when Mark Bryant got the ball in the lane was that he didn't really have a good shot. He's not a great scorer down there anyway. He had two black shirt teammates, Jerome Kersey and Terry Porter, both spotted up on the perimeter, wide open, and he takes the shot that he takes. They're lucky they maintain possession here. Houston, on the other hand, when they get in that situation,
technical foul on Kersey. He threw an elbow on Carl Herrera. Herrera was leaning on him. We saw the whole thing. Kersey just lifted up the elbow, gave him a quick whack with it. As they were fighting for position, and quickly Daryl Garrison took control of it. Let's look at it.
well, Jerome is posted up. Herrera, you're not supposed to put the hands on. I think that was the call, but I don't see what caused the technical.
The elbow.
This is supposed to be the NBA. No babies allowed. Let it play a little bit down there.
Smith gets the free throw. He has 7 points tonight. Another look at what transpired.
Let's see if we can see what caused the technical. Oh, a little shot. Oh, my gosh.
And the yell. And Daryl Garrison quickly with the tee.
And Jerome Kersey saying, hey, come on, let us play a little bit.
And now Daryl Garrison talking to Kenny Smith, Sam Cassell, making sure this game does not get out of hand. I think last night was a wake-up call for everybody.
I liked Isaiah's point at halftime. He said fans like to see players come out and compete. And there's going to be some of that when you compete hard. Obviously, the fighting's not good, but the competition's wonderful to watch. So I don't think you don't want to legislate this thing to the point where you don't have good aggressiveness.
We have that tonight. 96-87 is our score. Rockets lead it with 6:58 left to be played in the game. How about the Akeem MVP? Robinson maybe next year, maybe next week. We'll find out. A couple of Eastern Conference headlines. Knicks, Bulls, and Pacers are all trying to sweep as the Nets, Cavs, and Magic trying to stay alive. The Heat and the Hawks, they move it down to Miami with it all tied at 1 game apiece after the melee last night in Atlanta. That's the most action Doug Edwards has seen all year for Atlanta, by the way. Probably a letter now. Suns and the Sonics jump out in front 2-0. Seattle goes for the sweep tomorrow night on TNT. And the Jazz and the Spurs tied up at 1 game apiece as David Robinson, day to day on the injured knee. I'm sure John Anderson, the trainer of San Antonio, working on that, trying to get him ready for game number 3 in Utah, where they've lost, where San Antonio's lost something like 22 of the last 23. Turnover. The running Rockets. Herrera gets a break, bounces it off the foot of a Blazer.
You know, I'm seeing this more and more and more. Guys penetrating, running out of things to do, jumping up in the air and trying to find some place to pass the ball. Now, certain guys make that an art form, and they're very good at it. John Stockton, for one. But I'm seeing too many people do this.
Olajuwon, no place to go. Robinson now covering him. Bryant moves over to guard Herrera. Smith, Cassell from 19, a little short.
That's a tough shot. The reload shot with the dribble is a very tough shot.
Rudy Tomjanovich was pleased with his poise in game number 2. Grant lets it fly. Harvey Grant buries the jumper, his 12th point of the game.
Got a 7-point game here.
Here they come again.
Hanging around. Hanging around.
They showed poise in game 1 as Maxwell hit 10 consecutive points. He's not in the game now.
Goodness, they're going to keep going to Hakeem, and I think Rick Allen was thinking, hey, he will miss some. He is not missing very many, Ronnie.
38 points for Hakeem Olajuwon. He's moved his shooting percentage up to 50% for the game. Robinson battling Herrera, doing a nice defensive job. That is Herrera's strong point. They want Rod to shoot, the Rockets do. That's exactly what Rudy Tomjanovich wants him to do in the 4th quarter. They feel that Rod Strickland does not have the shot to win a ball game in the 4th. Now Bryant working on Olajuwon, pushing him a little bit farther out to Cassell, the cutter. Herrera being hounded. He's short.
Look at Cassell. Look at Cassell keep working.
He's got a little beef in him. He's not afraid to get in there. Clyde Drexler slips underneath everybody. Drexler, not a big night tonight. Only 11 points for Drexler, 6 here in the second half, but the lead is once again down to 7.
The Rudy T desperately wants to get Vernon Maxwell back in the game. He wants to get Otis Thorpe back in the game. He's got to go for the win here.
Ellie rejected by Harvey Grant, who's playing a wonderful game. Grant as Cassell goes down. Harvey Grant, what a game for Grant. 14 points. That's the Harvey Grant that started for Billy Tubbs at the University of Oklahoma, not the tentative one that has played for Portland this year. With 4:37 left to be played, it is a 5-point Rocket advantage. Rockets lead it by 5, 98-93. Their biggest lead was 15 at 53-38. The only Portland lead was at 4-2. And now the Portland Trailblazers is Turbo putting on this show. 2 balls at once. Portland can go for just 1, but Portland now, because of team foul situation, they have the ability to be very aggressive.
Well, you know, they've been waiting for the moment to make their move. We've been talking about it the whole game, and we've been saying that really Houston has been relying on the fact that they could just go to a team anytime they wanted, and they've been playing kind of lethargically, but fairly efficiently because of Hakeem. But now Portland finds itself with 3 fouls to give, 4 minutes and 35 seconds left. They can really step up the defense, play aggressive, not worry about fouling.
Now Rick Edelman goes back to his big lineup with Buck Williams coming back in. He's joined by Robinson and Dudley, who's checked back in. Herrera, the running jumper, won't go. Dudley pulls down the rebound. With 4:14 left, 16,000 plus at the Summit, becoming a little restless. But it is defense that got Houston to where they are today. Robinson being tied up. Forces the ball to Strickland, the turnover. Smith to Maxwell. Good hustle, Rod Strickland. What a save!
Tremendous play.
Spectacular. To Drexler to the hole. The jelly roll won't go. Oh, but what an effort by Rodney Strickland. It is a wasted opportunity. Olajuwon. Oh, you can't stop him.
I mean, I'm falling back in my chair, Ron Doolin. This guy's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
His 5th career 40-point playoff game for Hakeem Olajuwon. 40% of the offense. There's the defense that made Houston one of the best. Crowd standing, shot clock at 3. Nobody's even looking for the Blazers. They're not going to get it off. Listen to them.
Let's break it down. Ball goes inside to Hakeem Olajuwon. Chris Dudley on.
Rod Strickland, all ball, hanging on. Takes the ball, Strickland, and the whole gang, and puts it in. Take another look. Look how much ball Strickland has. Pulls right up through. That takes great strength to be able to do that.
The numbers on the two big former University of Houston Cougars, all Olajuwon tonight. Hakeem, 9 of 21 in the first half, 6 of 8 in the second. This is the loudest I have heard the Summit in probably 4 years. Unbelievable. Well, Blazers still 3 full timeouts. They've got 3 fouls to give. Rockets with 2 and 1. Inside of 3 minutes, the lead is back to 7. Portland had some golden opportunities, but they are still alive. A lot of time left, and when you have Drexler on the court, you have to be concerned. Nice look. Inside, Grant throws it away. Maxwell and Smith, joined by Thorpe to the hole.
Otis Thorpe might be the only man in the NBA that could have caught that blue darter, that thread the needle pass, that little 4-footer because of the juice on it, because of his great hand.
Buck Williams talked about the lack of confidence this team has in the fourth. Cliff Robinson, however, burying his second 3. He has 26. The lead is still 6. Rudy T talked about his team's poise in the fourth. Portland talked about their lack of confidence in the fourth. I'd have confidence if I had this guy, and we have a whistle and a foul, and that'll be on Cliff Robinson. That's 4 on Clifford.
That was one of those late whistles, but the foul was clearly there. You see Rudy Tomjanovich now checking out the scoreboard. It's 102-96. His team's on top. We're at the 2-minute mark. Now, this is the story of game 1 at the 2-minute mark. The 2-minute management by Portland. That includes shot selection. That includes your effort defensively. That includes how you used your timeouts. That includes the unselfishness quotient was all absent. On the other hand, Houston had a fine finish in their 2-minute management. You watch how it unfolds tonight.
16 trips to the line for Hakeem Olajuwon. The Rockets are 8-2 in games decided by 3 or less. We had a sandwich double team with Thorpe and Maxwell making a Robinson sandwich. Thorpe whistled for his third.
14 foul personal last 2 minutes. That was to Portland.
14 fouls on both clubs. An 8-point advantage. Next one will go to the line. Portland with 3 full timeouts and a 20. Houston with 2 and a 20. Neither team has a foul. Oh, Olajuwon! Oh, put that in row J and autograph it. 5th block. He had 6 in game 1. Drexler with the steal. The no-looker as Maxwell commits the foul.
Well, how uncharacteristic of Hakeem Olajuwon. Basically been brilliant all night. And then in the last minute and a half of this game makes an unbelievably poor decision. That's not a bad decision right there. That's what Rick Adelman said all along. He just takes away our inside game. Take another look at it.
Well, Rick Adelman's team now at the line to shoot 1 plus the penalty. They trail by 8. Still an eternity left at 127. Drexler now 4 of 5 from the stripe, only 12 points in this ballgame. Bob Lorenz is standing by in Atlanta with Inside the NBA. That'll be coming your way next. Immediately following, I'm sure Bob's going to have everything about the NBA today. Team telling Clyde to hurry up, get up and shoot. Drexler 13 points. The lead is 6, 125 left. Little pressure, double team. Grant helping out on Robinson. Kenny Smith has to call a Timeout. He wants a 20 with 1:19 left and 16 on the shot clock. Now the key is, I think Houston has to realize they only have 2 seconds to get it across the timeline or it'll be a violation. They've got to be careful right now.
That's why you really don't want that late timeout in the backcourt. But hey, Kenny Smith thought he was in trouble. That's what a good guard does. What you try to do is you try to save. I always used to try to save a couple of timeouts for late game situations. I don't usually like the players to call a timeout. I like to call it myself. But during the last minute or two of a game, I release that responsibility to them and say, hey, I always save one for you so that if you're in trouble, you can use it.
Well, they used the 20, and Thorpe will trigger the inbounds pass. Rudy T sending everybody down the far end of the court. They'll take the ball out just to the far left of the Houston Rocket bench. They're going to try to just get it across with one pass, and they do. Too easy. Too easy. No pressure. But Strickland picks the pocket of Smith to the hole. Oh, boy! Oh, have mercy! Oh, baby! Oh, I love this game.
Well, you want blocks? I'll give you blocks. You want points? I'll give you points. You want defense? I'll give you that. You want leadership? You want inspiration? I'll give it all to you. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, the Orkin man swapped that fest away. Robinson for 3. Ill-advised shot. Loose ball foul. Buck Williams. Houston again, the second game in a row showing a great deal of poise. The final 120 seconds.
Well, Strickland thinks he's home free. You're never home free with this guy around. That's about as legit as it gets.
6 blocks for the second game in a row for Hakeem Olajuwon. 42 points, but he only has 8 rebounds. He's just not doing the job on the boards tonight. He's dogging it. 17 trips to the stripe tonight for Hakeem. He has made 12 of them. This is a Blazer team that will have to go back to the Coliseum in Portland, probably trailing 2 games to none. What a series for Hakeem Olajuwon so far. This is a whole year for some players. 69 points, 12 blocks for Hakeem Olajuwon. Timeout. 1:08 left. Houston by 8. Hakeem Olajuwon, his 44 points is the most ever by a Houston Rocket in a regulation playoff game. He did have 49 in a double overtime game once. A spectacular effort, to say the least, by Hakeem Olajuwon.
So a regulation playoff game means no overtime.
No overtime.
Just
so
in
much
case
for
you were wondering.
Yeah, so much for the strategy of playing Hakeem Olajuwon straight up tonight. 1:08 left. It is an 8-point advantage. Stranger things have happened, folks.
Oh, absolutely. This is a lifetime in this league. All kinds of possessions left.
Something you don't see. Houston came out with 6 on the court. Corey had to take a seat. Portland has to call a timeout. They're going to call it 20, so they only have 2 pulls remaining. Houston with 2 full timeouts. Neither team has a foul to give. I think there's still a lot of time left.
Well,
you have a tendency to try to go for the 3. You can't do that.
No, I don't think so. I think a 2 is as good as a 3 right here. You want to get a good shot. You need a score. You want to come down and maybe get 1 stop and then start fouling. But Rick Adelman wanted a 2 or 3 possession game. It's a little more than that right now. I mean, he's got himself down 4 baskets. That's a tall order. 1 minute and 8 seconds. A 3 would help. A 2 will help. Anytime, or maybe a penetration and a foul, because if you can score with the clock stopped by shooting free throws, that's very helpful in this situation.
Bob Lorenz with Inside the NBA will be on your way next.
You need some kind of a quick move.
Drexler. Strickland. Robinson over Olajuwon. Strickland with the rebound and the putback inside of Olajuwon. Strickland now with 24 points in the ball game. A whistle and a foul on Rodney.
See, I think that's a good foul. You know, the other night in game 1, they had a situation where they let Houston run off 24 full seconds when there was only 48 seconds left in the game. They took the shot clock all the way down, never even got a shot, but ate up some valuable seconds when they should have fouled. Tonight they fouled appropriately.
Strickland 24 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds this evening as Cassell goes to the line. Cassell now with 6 points. You see the timeout situation for the respective clubs. 9 assists for Sam Cassell tonight. That would tie his regular season high and his career high, obviously. 7 points for Cassell, an 8-point advantage by the Rockets. Robinson, oh no, that's not going to go. He wanted a foul, didn't get the call. Now Portland is going to have to foul.
They shouldn't waste any time. They should have already fouled.
They've wasted 12 seconds.
It's the same thing they did the other night. What are they thinking about?
I don't know. They wasted 16 seconds on the shot clock as they were taking time to complain about Robinson's lack of call.
Well, see, Terry Porter is looking at Kenny Maurer, the official, and said, I was fouling my guy. Call it.
Now Cassell will go back to the line, 1+ the penalty.
Terry Porter is a very heads-up player. I would never say that he didn't know what to do in that situation. He was not guarding the man with the ball. He was fouling away from the ball, but he was fouling, and it just wasn't called. But I think you got to get down court in those scenarios, and you got to get right next to the inbound guy and foul immediately.
Cassell 4 of 4 from the line, 9 points for Sam Cassell, and it is a 10-point Rocket advantage. 33.7 left to be played. The playoff history, which Nick, I don't think people realize this is a team that was in the championship finals in '86, conference semifinals last year. The starting 4 have been together 4 seasons. Only time they missed the playoffs recently was in 1992.
Pretty impressive, but of course everybody remembers the surprise team of '86, the Twin Towers. Ralph Sampson hits that very off-balance shot to put him into the finals. I believe it was against the Los Angeles Lakers. And you know, this man Rudy Tomjanovich has done a marvelous job with this team. I was talking about the 2-minute management and the difference between what these two teams do in the last 2 minutes of the game. I think a lot of NBA games are won in the last 2 minutes. You have to be able to perform and take things down to the wire and make all the right decisions as a team, as a unit in the last 2 minutes of a game. You know, and for Portland, this whole game, Ron Thulin, it's been a case of too little fire too late.
We see him try to climb the plateau in game 1 on Friday. Same thing tonight. The hole wasn't as deep. It was only 15, but still getting down again early. Olajuwon not giving up. Playing like it's the first 5 minutes of the game. Whistle and a foul. 23 left.
Houston foul.
And Drexler playfully dunks over Olajuwon.
His ex-college teammate.
The foul was on Cassell. And at the line it'll be Cliff Robinson, but it was a good night for Cliff Robinson. 26 tonight after that very disappointing showing in game 1, but still you have to be concerned. Your big star finally comes through with the big numbers, but he doesn't get any help as Clyde Drexler only in tonight. Not a big night for Drexler with 13 points, and this is a career playoff high for Robinson.
I just don't like Portland's energy levels. I didn't like them the first game. I didn't like them tonight. They don't look like they're a happy team.
Houston just trying to run things out. Thorpe to Olajuwon. Why not one more? My goodness, what a night. 46 points, 8 rebounds, 6 blocks, 4 assists for Hakeem Olajuwon. The final 5 seconds. That's going to be it. The Houston Rockets are going to go up 2-0 as the shot goes down. The 3 will count. The three was good at the buzzer, giving the Houston Rockets the 115-104 victory. Portland has gotten down 0-2 4 different times in the playoffs. They have won only one game. But tonight they were creamed by Hakeem Olajuwon. Fifth 40-point career effort in a playoff game, and our Budweiser player of the game. This is a no-brainer. Hakeem Olajuwon, 46 points, 8 rebounds, 6 blocks, 16 of 30 from the field. A number of balls that he was able to knock away as the Portland Trailblazers were on the break. Just an all-around fantastic effort, to say the least, for Hakeem Olajuwon. What is on the horizon for him? Will it be the MVP? Will it be Defensive Player of the Year? We're going to find that out probably in a couple of weeks. Joining us now is Hakeem Olajuwon. First of all, Hakeem, Portland really came into tonight's game saying we wanted to just play Hakeem Olajuwon straight up. You made him pay for that tonight.
Well, they cannot be right. You know, you have to respect the post.
World News tonight, or your local news coming up, except on the West Coast. Last year, these two teams met in the same round, the second round. San Antonio won 4 games to 2. Lakers went out. Phil Jackson, Mitch Kupchak had to revamp the team, bring in Malone, bring in Payton, make a couple of other moves along the way. San Antonio, of course, is